And we're back on Liquid Lunch, and Taylor Jane Green is here.
Hello, Taylor.
Taylor, let's look at Taylor. Taylor, what's going on? Taylor, did you ever watch? There you are.
What a great smile. What a great smile.
Up there and I'm thinking, I'm not here.
There you are.
Hugh, how are you?
I'm great.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes, I did used to co-host this show, and it was a riot.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Well, it's going to be a riot today,
Miss you.
too.
Yes.
Thanks, you too.
Yeah.
So anyway, here we are. We're doing this.
Yes, and I'm promoting a new hypnotherapy clinic.
Okay.
Hypnotherapy and NLP.
Yeah.
And I mentioned to you before the show started, I'm going to go cosmic for a moment and say I think it's a part of one fun, playful way to talk about what is hypnosis and what is NLP is that the human species is learning how to shapeshift. We're learning how to work more consciously and in new, creative ways with our minds.
Fantastic. So if we really get the shape-shifting down,
Yes, would be a good idea.
then we can sleep in buckets, right? We can turn ourselves into water and just pour ourselves into a bucket where we can spend the night.
Why not? Why not? We can do all kinds of things. We can quit smoking, we can lose weight, we can get through a divorce without being a mess, we can do all kinds of things.
Okay, what do you mean by shapeshift?
Well, what I mean by shapeshift is anything where we're learning to use our minds in new ways. So for instance, let's say I noticed that I was really heavy-duty working a lot, and I was under a lot of stress, and then I would indulge in ways that didn't leave me feeling good, but I couldn't get out of that pattern. I couldn't break out of that habit. So what hypnosis can do and what NLP can do is help you access parts of your subconscious mind to get in touch with, well, when have I had self-control? When have I had discipline? When have I been able to have my willpower? And then to connect with that energy or that feeling, that experience that you've had, and then bring that forward in your timeline to now, and then look at what would I like to be doing now? How would I like that to feel? What would I like to be doing instead of indulging in certain ways to de-stress from all the wonderful work I do? And then seeing that and using the imagination in focused, conscious ways and connecting with that and anchoring it into the body. Because we often don't use our minds and our bodies in these creative ways.
So Taylor, when with the mind, we get an idea, and then if it's not met with sort of intelligent questioning and intelligent planning, imagination can run amok and take these ideas that we see and really create chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what are some of the tools that you might have or be able to offer, and help us maybe understand the distinctions between NLP and hypnosis for imaginations that are great but are unchecked, and how we all can use that in ways that can help us. And one example I'll just give you, I was looking at some of my own sense of communication and service and life, and realizing, my goodness, things that I am working on today, thinking I'm working with people, making a difference here, making a difference here. When I was a teenager, 15, 16, I was doing the same thing, but I didn't recognize it. And looking back even earlier, like maybe 5 or 6, I still wanted to do the same thing, but I didn't have any skills to really do it. And I'm beginning to look, wait a minute, this is driving me. It's not really choice. And I'm beginning to wonder about that. Do you have any insights to share?
About the fact that you were doing service?
Yeah, no, just this aspect of, this idea is driving me all the time. And I'm not even sure where it came from.
The idea of, I just want to make sure I
yeah,
heard you.
yeah, being in service, being useful, making a difference for people.
Yeah. Well, your first question about the difference between NLP and hypnosis and making sure that we use our creative minds and our imaginations in creative ways.
Yeah, constructively.
Yes, constructively. That's what NLP and hypnosis is all about, is helping ourselves use our desire to do good or to live moral lives or to be of service to ourselves, to learn how to forgive ourselves, to learn how to access sometimes trauma in childhood, or parts of us that are strong and parts of us that feel weak, and to do parts negotiation, different parts of us. So hypnosis is basically a focused state of awareness, just like when you're driving your car or you're watching television. We're in trances all the time. So it's becoming conscious of those trances and using hypnosis to transform, and NLP to transform. NLP works a lot with the timeline. So does hypnosis. It's all about everything I've been up until now, and how does that impact me? And then where am I at now? And what do I want to change? And in my future, where do I want to be? And how can I access parts of me that are affected by my past in creative, positive ways to constructively change what I want to change now, to create and impact my future so that it will look different than it would look if I just kept doing the same old thing.
All right. That's a great sort of overview. Are there primary steps or fundamental steps to be able to map some of this out so that people can affect this type of change?
Well, hypnosis is basically the steps of learning to relax, and that's what we do at the clinic, is to help people relax into their bodies through their breaths, soften their bodies. We use music and the quality of our voices, the quality of the trance state that we go into, to help somebody with, in physics they talk about entrainment. So where you go, often another person will go. Usually if someone's angry, it can entrain someone else to anger, or if someone's loving, it can entrain someone else to be loving. So in hypnosis, we assist someone, we facilitate them to basically relax their own conscious mind, to gain greater access to their subconscious mind, and to gain access to information that isn't on the surface, isn't in their beta consciousness, but is in other parts of who we are, in the delta state, the alpha state, those types of states, to then create and get information, answers. We can do age regression, but it's all with the mind of who am I now, and what am I working with now, and what do I want to change? Do I want to lose weight? Do I want to quit smoking? Do I want to go through my grief journey, a grief and loss journey, or a divorce journey, or a premarital journey, or a prenatal journey? Do I want to do this more consciously and change certain habit patterns? Let's say I might have anxiety, or I might be experiencing depression or stress in ways that I would like to alleviate, to lessen, to decrease. And so we can help with some of the symptoms there through working with the mind. But really, it's what I was saying to Hugh, it's just about the human species learning shape-shifting. I like to talk about it in fun, playful language like that we're simply working with our minds in new and different ways that we're not used to working it. If we're at the grocery store with our grocery list brain, or we're watching TV with our TV watching brain. But this is getting a little more creative and proactive with ourselves. And we can learn through Donald has wonderful CDs, hypnosis CDs, and it's his clinic. It's donaldcurry.com clinic in the Young and Bloor area at 93 Collier Street. And we have aromatherapy massage as well, get your issues out of your tissues. We have Reiki for relaxation and energy clearing, as well as hypnosis. So we're working with people at all levels. Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, in a very holistic way, which addresses the whole human being, which is all of who we are. We have a nutritionist on board, and we have all different ways of addressing, empowering a person, and helping them release what they want to release and gain what they want to gain.
It was very telling and significant for me. One of your opening remarks in hypnosis is actually learning to relax. I'd never associated the two. I've always considered hypnosis work, and I've even considered relaxation work. Sort of silly. And the idea of shape-shifting to that is a lot more fun and a lot,
it's fun.
Yeah, and lovely.
And often people who've tried all kinds of other things come to our clinic because, as Donald has on his site, he's written some wonderful copy, and he basically says people often come to this when everything else hasn't reaped the results they were looking for. And so give this a shot. It can be fun, relaxing, and transforming.
How do hypnosis and NLP work together? Is it one after the other, or is it concurrent? Or
it can be concurrent. They can work together very well because they're both working with the mind in conscious, co-creative ways, proactive ways. Mm-hmm. Hypnosis is more when you are relaxing the conscious mind to gain access to the subconscious mind, whether it be through gaining information, through age regression. NLP is more about reaching into the different parts of the psyche and bringing them together. For instance, that person, let's say if someone's a workaholic and they're wanting to have more self-control and self-discipline about how they de-stress. Instead of indulgence, they would like to, let's say, take longer walks in the park. And yet they have this wall of resistance or this anxiety to doing that. And so what we will do with NLP is to say, remember a time when you did have self-control and self-discipline. And they might say, well, yeah, I once had to go through an operation in the hospital and I had to watch what I ate for the success of the operation. And then how did you feel? Well, I felt great. I felt full of self-control and willpower and discipline. Okay, let's connect with that. Close your eyes. Feel that in your body. So again, we're doing mind, heart, body, emotions, spirit, everything that we're made up of. And making it not just a head trip, but a whole self trip, a body trip, an emotion trip. And so when they connect with that, we then, with NLP, let's anchor that in. What physical thing can you do to remind you of that strength? And then now, let's go into the future. Let's say you've just gotten in from a walk in the park. How do you feel? Can you make that sign that with your body that, makes you remember and anchor that in, that feeling? And now maybe let's go back to when you indulged. And how did that, what if you'd had this tool then? And how might that feel different? So you're helping them connect, actually change neural pathways in the brain. Everything is the brain. So it's really just about learning to work with your brain more consciously and getting help to do that.
It's actually a nice analogy. Just like we go to we may work with weights or other things to get a bit of muscle or stay in tone. What do we actually do to really exercise the brain? Mm-hmm. And and certainly as adults, after our schooling, what are we actually doing to shape that? Or, as you say, shape shift.
So this is basically, we had thought about calling the clinic Evolve, because it really is about us evolving our ways of working with ourselves to create the lives that we want to create, and doing it without any shame or blame. Say, I've got these habits, and there's no shame or blame. Sometimes we can get insight into where they came from, and that can be helpful. Self-forgiveness can come into it. All kinds of things to just help a person get in touch with their highest strength, and then help them create what it is they want to create. Hugh, you're so
Taylor,
quiet.
Well, I was trying to think of the next question. No, okay, when you hypnotize somebody, have you ever taken them back into a past life?
Yes, and some people don't believe in past lives. In that case, we would say, well, let's say maybe it's just a mythological image or symbol or archetype, and that is powerful.
I know, it's so weird, though. It's so weird that you can actually do that.
Who knows? Eh? Well, you're the one that was talking about us changing our DNA. I mean, that's weird. Crop circles are weird.
I know, crop circles are really weird. Where do crop circles come from?
We're not even going to go there, Hugh. We're
so
talking about
bad.
We're talking about quitting smoking and losing weight and
I know.
dealing with anger management and
all
grief.
Right. Well, before we get back into that stuff, because I just
trust issues before marriage and conflict resolution. That's what we're dealing with. This is the real stuff that people are working with on a day-to-day basis.
I know, but it is 2011 and 2012 is only a year away. You mentioned you can take people into the future as well, right? Well,
we work with the mind in terms of projecting into the future with what they would like to see for themselves. And of course, in the Olympics, there are the people who for years have been working with the athletes to imagine themselves winning the race.
I know.
Yeah, and they do tests on them, and they find that imagining it is almost as powerful as actually doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. It really works, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really works.
Is the Canadian Olympic team using HIP? hypnosis?
That's a good question. Can somebody give them a call right now? And
That's the question.
They probably leave all the athletes. Canadian Olympic.
Are there people that, be them athletes, Olympic athletes, or others, that can't or won't be hypnotized?
do you know
And
that
if
is
so,
excellent?
what could we do?
It's so cool you ask that.
Yeah.
My partner, years and years and years ago, went to get hypnotized and to a very specialized place. And the fellow said, "You know what? You're one of those people that just won't go there."
Well, how
They're
does he know?
too much in control of themselves, or
Do you know the thing about hypnosis? And a lot of people come in and they say, "You're not going to make me act like a chicken, are you?"
yeah.
And we say, "Listen, that's the stage hypnosis, and that's really done hypnosis a lot of
Damage,
done injustice, because for anyone to successfully be hypnotized by us, it's really the client who is hypnotizing themselves. We're simply supporting and facilitating them hypnotizing themselves. It is up to them to relax their conscious mind. They can choose to go along with our guided journey or not. And I always say to clients, you can hear everything I'm saying. You can come out of it at any time. It's totally safe. And sometimes people don't remember. Sometimes they do remember.
It's so weird, Taylor. I think I'm one of those people that doesn't get hypnotized. I've tried to get hypnotized.
Have you?
Yeah. I've seen
Hugh, you'll have to come into the clinic.
I don't know.
Hey, we'll hypnotize you.
I'm probably one of those people that really doesn't want to be a chicken. Act like a chicken on stage.
All right, now, did everything I just say not go in there?
It's about relaxation. It's not about someone else taking control.
I know. But anyways, so I did this, though. I did a session with a real hypnotherapist. And I don't even know if I was hypnotized or not. I don't know.
Well,
how
what
do you know
happened?
when you're hypnotized? Because you don't lose consciousness,
Nope.
right?
No.
So how do you know when you're hypnotized?
Well, let's put it this way. When I'm facilitating somebody coming back, so to speak, or coming out of that particular state of mind, usually one way that they know they've really gone somewhere is their entire body is very relaxed. And a part of me counting them back to the room is saying, and now you're coming back to the room, and you're in your full physical body, so begin to move your toes, your fingers, your neck a little bit, breathe more deeply, welcome back, your mind is clear and alert, you're feeling wonderful in every way, and they gradually come to, similar to how we come out of sleep. We just gradually come back. We come fully into this state of consciousness, this reality, back to the room. But when they're in that place, they can often feel almost as if they're floating, or as if they don't have a body per se, those can be some of the sensations. Of course, they do have a body, and they are right there, but their consciousness is in a place that's, they can hear everything, and they can come out of it if they really need to, but they're so relaxed and feeling good, they're just open to the suggestions that they have worked with us to co-create. It's my responsibility to co-create a hypnotherapy script that's personalized and customized to their particular desire, need, and want, and to creatively seed that into their subconscious mind.
It seems that the promise of hypnotherapy is that you can almost deal with any problem. Almost any problem. I mean, if you can use it to quit smoking, or sleep
issues,
stuff, or just be happier.
Anxiety,
you think that that's easier than even quitting smoking. Is I just want to have a better attitude. I don't want to be depressed. I want to be
some
happier.
people feel they just want to improve their lives or improve who they are.
It seems like it's almost too good to be true. The promise of hypnosis.
Well, it's like exercise and eating right is too good to be true too, and yet.
Yeah, but you have to eat right.
Right, and
That's
you have to exercise, and you have to come into the clinic, and
right. Whereas hypnotherapy, you just really go.
It is very
you do a
relaxing,
session, and then
I
bingo,
think probably
your problem is solved.
Well, do you know? I think probably the hardest part. That's such a great point you're bringing up. The hardest part about coming in can be, well, I don't want someone else to have control over me, or what if I go out? And so that can be a part of why someone wouldn't come in. They need to get over that misconception about hypnosis. The other hard part about coming is there's such a taboo and a stigma. You know, it's a badge of honor in our culture to go to the gym. Outer fitness is a badge of honor. Inner fitness, working with our inner self, is still very much a taboo and a stigma in our culture. And that stops a lot of people from doing what is actually a cutting-edge thing to do, which is to work with your inner fitness and to actually take a more co-creative, proactive role in creating your life, choosing who do I want to be and what are my obstacles, what are the things getting in the way, whether it be the blues or a funk or a frenzy, anxiety, depression, a certain habit. What's in the way? What would I like to actively work with to soften and eliminate or release? What would I like to work with?
Maybe it's even more than that, than just this. Maybe it's also that people, you know, are in love with their problems. Right? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, there's the pity parties, right? We love our self-pity parties.
Yeah. And
we don't realize, you know, because they can be so seductive. You know, for lots of young kids on the street, you know, crack cocaine is very seductive. Problem is, it's a very short-lived comfort, and then it turns into, you know, a horror story. And so with the self-pity party, it can be very soothing initially. It can help us feel relief, and yet it's short-lived, and it actually imprisons us. Whereas to learn, and that's one thing we can learn to do, is, I'm going to sidestep the self-pity party, because that's just going to take me in a place that ultimately isn't going to empower me.
Taylor,
and yet that's to train our mind.
Yeah, no, the idea of inner fitness is really quite brilliant. And, you know, so thank you for that. I'm going to work with that. And I wanted to ask you then personally,
yes,
have you experienced hypnotherapy and NLP? And if so, what are some of the experiences or shape-shifting that you've had that you might like to share?
Oh, goodness. Yes, of course, I do it every other week. And I do it at the clinic. And actually, Donald Curry, who's a master hypnotherapist who has been doing this for almost 10 years. He worked at the Ontario Hypnosis Centre as one of their primary instructors and therapists for 6 years, and he's been on his own for 3 years. He's a master hypnotherapist, an NLP practitioner, as well as a Reiki practitioner. So I am privileged to work with Donald. In fact, I'll be working with him today, this afternoon. And I can gain all kinds of information. I find that when I relax into a hypnosis state, that I have access to knowledge within me that helps me gain insight into, why am I doing that certain behavior? Why do I feel a wall of resistance when it comes to that? A part of me knows I want to go there and change this or that about my life. But when I actually go there, for instance, I personally don't like marketing. When I think about sitting down at the computer to market, I just feel this resistance, this discomfort, this anxiety. And so this afternoon I'll be working more with that and saying, wow, what is that? Why do I have that sensation? And most likely Donald might do an age regression to say, let's talk to the part of your subconscious mind that has some answers about what that's about for you, and what might be some connections related to mother-father that have impacted your sense of doing this worldly exercise out in the world.
Fascinating.
It's really something.
It sounds to me like hypnosis, and I never related it as such. You know, as you know, not sleep. You know, and sort of like your but you know, like in a theta state or a delta state. But it also sounds like a functional meditation or a directed meditation.
Yes, it's very similar to guided meditation into an alpha state. Because our beta state is our beta brain, the one who makes the grocery lists and gets things done, and that's the one that after a while we can begin to feel like this, and that we just can't relax. And that you know, getting ways, whether it be through yoga or meditation or hypnotherapy, or walking in the park or whatever it is for us, or playing squash or curling, whatever it is that helps us relax our conscious mind, our mind, and to ease into our imagination Wayne Dyer, I was just reading last night, he's got a wonderful book where he took an entire year to both study and live and breathe the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, which is all about the way of water, the water course way. And he talks about how, you know, there are things perhaps you wanted to do all your life, there are dreams, there are achievements, and yet the harder you've tried to make it happen, whether it's the perfect relationship or making more money or getting the job you want, and the harder you try, the farther away it is, and nothing has helped you. And when you suddenly relax and you learn ways of relaxing around that, suddenly things shift and change and come to you and are far easier and new ideas come in. So it's about us becoming more conscious of what works.
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor Jane. Now
I'm going to hypnotize you right now, Hugh.
You are.
I'm joking. Just the way
Thank
you're looking at
goodness,
me.
Because I don't want to be hypnotized. But
You and my partner, you two should go out for a beer.
that sounds like a good idea. Oh, okay. So you mentioned shape-shifting, and I thought you were talking about some weird, like, that the human race was going to, like, become a whole new, evolve to a new kind of 13-strand DNA something or other.
Hugh, we
Fifth
are.
density.
2012 has been in operation for decades. We are shape-shifting. Who cannot see that? Look at the computer technological advances. Look at how far we've come in a few short decades. And according to people who study the Mayan calendar and who look at 2011, things are speeding up in terms of so many. If you just look at Apple, for instance, and the new inventions, you know, it used to be every few years, and then it was every few months, and these days it's almost every few days.
So what's going to happen?
Yeah, well, it is happening. We are changing. We are changing.
It's sort of like before we've had all the super systems, the macro grid. You know, but we're also now with, you know, Apple and others in technology and our understanding and consciousness developing the microgrid. So we're actually just as a virtual village or a global village, each individual is connecting.
If you just look at YouTube, that's an excellent point, and think of how your consciousness is so much different now than it was even 2 months ago. Looking at YouTube and how suddenly the whole world can create and share this incredible creation. I mean, back when I was in my 30s, I was a poet and I was a performance artist and I had my pencil and my paper, and yet I was completely isolated. Now, if I knew the technological tools, I would have my message out there in the hour. And I think all of these ways of us having this hyper communication almost is helping us all to increase our knowledge, our understanding, our wisdom, our compassion, what we know about, to great, great degrees. We are increasing in our consciousness so rapidly as compared to what was possible before.
Okay.
I've wondered also whether I can be hypnotized. So I'm more
Well,
curious.
you must come into the clinic. It's at Young and Bloor, the Donald Curry and Associates Clinic at 93 Collier Street. We would love to see you. We have 30-minute free consultations. Okay. Come in and speak with Donald or myself, and you can look at the possibility of aromatherapy massage or Reiki or nutrition.
What is aromatherapy massage?
Oh, well,
And is it legal?
Laura Fry is fabulous. Some people talk about getting your issues out of your tissues, that you have certain muscle tension, but also it affects our emotions, and it's a wonderful way to do a lot of releasing. And the aromatherapy's been around for thousands of years, and everything that we work with, whether it be pharmaceutical and chemicals or natural or herbal or aroma or homeopathic, obviously we are very affected by what we have put on our skin, whatever kind of ointment it might be, or what we put in our mouths. We are very affected by what we interact with. So aromatherapy with the touch can be very transformative, as can the Reiki. Phyllis Straub does wonderful Reiki work, and helping people guide them in meditation and adopt meditation techniques, mind-body ways of, again, this kind of education that we don't get just you know, on TV or on the billboards. this kind of education that can support and encourage and nurture people to take those very powerful tools and change their lives.
See, I think it's a possibility there that some people, if they can get over the fact that they're in love with their problem and they want to actually take a step towards actually dealing with that problem, that a great way to start would go in for that 30-minute free consultation and just see what you can do, right?
Yeah, just sit down and have an info session, have a chat, and pick our brains and say, hey, what is all this anyway?
Yeah, okay. So it's 93 Collier Street, Yonge and Bloor, right?
It's 93 Collier Street.
And how do you set up that appointment? Do you go to the website?
You just
or
go
what's
to Donald Currie, Donald, CURRIE.com, donaldcurrie.com. And, or you can go to my website, taylorjanegreen.com. And just, but I would suggest going to Donald's site and just booking that, just click that little button that says click.
Nice. It's that simple.
And
Donald.
we're going to see you, and we're going to
I'll bring him.
hypnotize. Yes, both of you come in
You might have to
together.
hypnotize me to get me in there, Hilton.
I have my ways.
He can watch and make sure nothing bad happens to you. How about that?
Okay.
I will keep an eye on you.
All right, Taylor. Great to see you again. Thanks for
It's
coming
a
in.
delight being here. Thank you so much.
Okay. So let's play some Emmanuel Gasser from the CD. We're going to come back and chat with Emmanuel right
Yes,
after
I'm
this.
looking so forward to
It's
that.
going to be awesome. He's going to play the accordion too.
Wow.
Yes. Okay, we'll be right back. ThatChannel.com.
For the air.